By 1940, Australian troops were already fighting in North Africa and the Middle East, and the war with Japan seemed inevitable. Knowing that Britain would have difficulty producing enough armor for its own troops, and with the US still neutral, the Australian Army decided to produce its own indigenous medium tank design. The Sentinel followed the design strategy of the British cruiser tanks, built for speed and mounting the British 2-pounder gun. Over time, in response to developments in Europe, the design became something closer to an American medium tank. The lower hull and drivetrain were based on a US M3 medium tank. However, the radial engines used by the US were not available, and the Sentinel instead used three Cadillac V8 engines. The hull and turret were each cast as a single piece, something not done with other tanks of the era. Although the design was capable of mounting the larger 6-pounder gun, none were available, and all were armed with the 2-pounder. 65 were produced in 1943. They performed well in testing, but by the time the design was finalized, Allied tanks were available in sufficient numbers, and the Australian military decided that resources should be applied elsewhere. The Sentinel never saw combat, but Sentinels were modified to look like German tanks and used in the 1944 war film, The Rats of Tobruk.